Well, I have finally made it 2 minutes late. Sorry, guys. And welcome to Virtual Collage Jam 4. What is it, Monday the 8th? 9th, apparently. Welcome aboard for the Virtual Collage Jam for Monday, June 9th. And I have been running, not quite literally, but quite figuratively, the last many days. So so apologies for getting this off the ground a couple minutes late. And but I'm here now, looking forward to collaging with you guys on the optional theme of Misanthrope. Someone who hates or avoids other people, and I thought we could we all have had our moments to be one, and we've all had our encounters with them, right? So so I thought that would be, it's kind of an unusual prompt for us, so in that it's got a little more edge and character, but what the heck, right? So what can I tell you? There's I should catch you guys up on a bunch of things going on, because there is lots going on, which is really great. So and I should say, hey Annie, welcome aboard. I should say hi in the chat. So I'll do that. And hope you're doing well, Annie. And hey, Janice, yay! So we've got you're Mississauga, right, Annie? So we got Mississauga and we've got Midland represented. So that's awesome. And Brampton, I'm for me. So we got a nice little triangle going on. And probably there are some other people like Rebecca Scarborough, hello, and Lisa, hello. Awesome. Glad to have people piling in the front door finally, which is awesome. It's not the world's best day out there. I don't know. It looks like we've had rain, but we don't have any at the moment. But at least it's not. And Lisa says North York. So awesome. Yeah, thanks. I wasn't sure exactly where you were, Lisa. So yeah. So before we dig in on Misanthrope, couple of exciting things to share. Obviously, I've got a show coming up very soon. Opens on Saturday. There's an opening reception from 1 to 4 at Station Gallery in Whitby. I'm well along with the installation. It's going really well. I'm excited. I've been putting up a vinyl. I don't know that it's actually vinyl. What it is like a sticker, like it's a printed sticker, really, really large, and it's divided into chunks of, I think I've got 3 big ones and one big one and 3 very big ones. That's what I'm trying to say. So there's a bunch of framed work. If you visited me at the Artist Project, you'll have seen a bunch of those. But 3 of these are 7 feet wide by 10 foot tall, and it's just so exciting to put them up, like stick them up to the wall in pieces, get them lined up, and then like step back, and it's like, whoa. So it's not a wallflower show. Kim and I were looking at how it was progressing and thinking, yeah, this is not a wallflower show. It is it's overhung. It's really stimulating, but then again, I like that. So yeah, so it's going to be, I'm really excited to see it come together. I'm working on and fingers crossed it works out, because I'm working on using some old adhesive prints that sort of got somewhat damaged in from the last show in Midland that Janice saw, and trying to make like a coroplast, not coroplast, foam core sculpture using some of those collages for the center of the room. So, but I'm winging it. I took a bunch of materials and I'm just sort of like working in the middle of the gallery, because we don't have that kind of space here. And so if it comes together, it'll be there. And if you're like, if you come to the gallery and like, where's the sculpture? Well, you'll know it didn't work out. So yeah, Janice, the ones at Midland were 9 feet tall, the biggest ones. So I just had to go that little bit bigger. So yeah. Um, Annie, yes, I can reuse them. Um, and in theory, I could have reused the ones that I did in Midland, but unfortunately, two strikes were against them. One was well, actually, it was the same problem for both the artwork and the backer, the sticker backer, were both really, really thin. And I had really, really large pieces. Like it was kind of like wallpaper strips, and they were like 9 feet tall by, I don't know, 30 inches or something like that. So we managed to get them off the wall just fine. But just like with Kim standing at one end and me standing at the other and trying to like place them back onto this very, very lightweight backer, that the static and so on would mean it would jump and up and get stuck to it. And yeah, it didn't work out, and it was sad because it was a lot of money. And I was sort of thinking, well, at least I'll be able to reuse these, and not really. Whereas these, I'm positive will be good because I'm doing them in smaller chunks. The backer is really substantial. The actual print is more substantial. So yeah, so yeah, so that should be good. And what else? Okay, there's also some really exciting news. I am going to, which I haven't had a chance to promote at all, but you guys are the first ones to hear. You'll see stuff about it soon enough. Is I'm some of you guys may have come to my Virtual Collage Jam at Gladstone House a couple of years ago. I've done a couple of them, sort of like live Virtual Collage Jam events, so you can come in person or you can just attend live, like the live stream like we do regularly. But I'm going to do one from Station Gallery. So on Saturday, June 5th, from 12:30 to 4. That'll be the event that will be in person, and then I'll do a live stream in the middle of it, just like a collage jam. But yeah, it's going to be so if you want to come and collage together, and it's always kind of cool to actually meet some of the other virtual collage jammers. So now I know it's in Whitby, right? So, but it's actually reasonably easy to get to via using GO Train, because you can walk from the GO Train station to Station Gallery. It's 10 minutes, yeah, and you can actually see the gallery and from the GO station and vice versa. So yeah, so I'm gonna set it up. We're gonna work in the center. I have to figure out a prompt, but it'll be a prompt that sort of somewhat relates to the show, but is nice and open, because open prompts are good. So yeah, so that's the excitement. And one other exciting thing. I've been, and there are other things going on too that are exciting, but these are the main ones. I've been like da, 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 with my career, which is great. So this week, starting today and running through to Sunday, if you happen to be downtown Toronto, a bunch of you guys probably not, right? But if you are, at 2 Bloor Street West, which is like a fancy schmancy office building, they have a really very large screen, and my artwork has been chosen to be one of the pieces rotating this week. I think it's among other artists, but I don't know yet. I have to get down there to photograph it while it's on the screen, because it's like, I think it's behind the sort of concierge desk, and it's really tall, and it's like super exciting. So yeah. Yes, Lisa, you are correct. and this is what's happening to my brain. So July 5th is the date of of the Virtual Collage Jam. Yes, July. Forgive me, 2 J's and Cat's small brain. So yeah, I'm telling you all about this exciting thing coming up that's already happened, right? It's like, what? Sorry. All right, so we have a theme for Misanthrope today, so I'll be curious to see how you guys are going to approach that. Even I wasn't sure. I threw a few ideas around this morning, and I have one that I think I'm going to see how it goes and see how it goes, right? So I had a friend email me when she saw the prompt, and she said, "Oh, that's like a fun prompt." She said, "I always thought I was a misanthrope until I learned that I was just an introvert," and I think there are a bunch of us artists can relate to that, right? So yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, yeah. So if you could, it could be an experience of being like, your collage could take the viewpoint of being a misanthrope, because we all have our moments, right? Or it could take a sort of view of one. I don't know what, or anything else. Or if it's like, yeah, this doesn't work for me, collage on something else or create something else. So let us know in the comments what your thinking is, if you have any ideas. And meanwhile, I will switch to the overhead camera and get my misanthrope party started. And I also just want to say a shout out to Rebecca, because she, as you guys know, she handles a lot of my my Virtual Collage Jam MailChimping, and she said, "Let's collage alone together," in one of the emails, and I just thought, that's perfect. That's kind of what we do, right? We collage alone together. So that was really inspired wordsmithing, Rebecca. And just seeing the thumbs up reminds me and reminds Rebecca that please give the video a thumbs up if you can, just to help other people find us. So all right, so screen's going to go black while I get it set up in the overhead, and then we'll get collaging. So don't fret. Camera's hooked on something back there. That's not good. Come on, camera. There we go. All right. Hopefully, let's see how our view is. A professional would have set this up more in advance. But I'm just lucky I know my name at this point. So, and I wrote it here in case I forget. I joke, but really it's really awesome to have an exciting exhibition coming up, and to have the opportunity to share that work with anyone who comes. I really enjoy the a lot of the work is already installed, and I was there on Thursday doing some more work on it. And they had some other events going on at the gallery, and they said, would it be all right if people came in and looked at it and talked while you work? And I said, absolutely. So, it was really cool, like people coming in, asking questions, talking about what I'm working on. Lots of people saying wow, because as Janice can attest, when you have them that big, they really do, they hit you. So And I'm hopelessly addicted to the to that adrenaline rush of the big work now. So all right, so I'm just trying to get my lighting situation half decent. So I had the idea, and I just quickly printed, and I have to choose one side or the other apparently. Okay, I quickly printed a few pictures of like offices full of cubicles, and I was thinking it'd be kind of fun to pick one of these cubicles and put the walls way higher and sort of make it like a fort. You know, everyone's got their own little cubicle and they're working away, but then there's this one where there's a misanthrope who's like just put the walls up really, really high because they don't want to they just want to hide and get the walls up higher. So I thought that would be kind of fun. So I've got 3 different shots of cubicles, and I'm just going to look them over and think about which one I'd like to insinuate this high walled cubicle in. And probably it's this high view because that allows me to go to actually put the walls higher. This one's kind of low, so it's a relatively low ceilinged building. So, I mean, compared to our house, not, but compared to this one, which seems that, well, this is also shot almost from ceiling level, which is kind of fun, isn't it? It really amplifies the perspective. So what do you guys have in mind? Do you have an idea for Misanthrope that you're going to play with? I'm thinking that I guess I can trim it. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I was just thinking to myself that maybe I should choose like depending on how high I want to take these walls, that I should maybe work on a larger piece of paper. But maybe, yeah, actually, I think I might. Unless I think I'll be able to go high enough. I think it'd be kind of fun if the walls went so high they were above the photograph that it's coming from. So I think that'd be kind of fun. So excuse me while I go get a larger sheet of paper. Couple of options anyway. And oh, thank you, Rebecca. I'm just checking the comments, and Janice, yes. Janice says, yes, very exciting to see them in person. Something I found very gratifying about the show in Midland was everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people who the first words out of their mouth when they walked in the door of the gallery were, wow. And that warms my heart, you know. And I think any artist would be excited to have that kind of response to people coming into your show, right? All right, is this a good size? Well, this is certainly big enough. I'm looking at the wrong image. That's not the one I chose. This one. Or is this going to be big enough? This could work, this size, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go bigger. Because I sometimes find that if I work with a paper that's a little bit too big, that means that I could always make it smaller by cropping it or matting it, probably just cropping it. but it gives me the option, like if an idea occurs to me that needs to go further than I anticipated, then I have a bit of wiggle room, right? Whereas if you work on a small piece of paper and you have an idea that needs to go further, it's like, then you have a decision, right? Do you try and like cobble something together on more paper? You can always do that. Or do you just say, I'm going to keep it to this page, right? So I am going to go with this larger sheet for that reason, to keep my options open. So so I'm going to trim off the white areas, and I'm going to start thinking about, I want my wall, my sort of, I kind of think of it as like a fortress or a castle, but not so much a castle like a fairy tale castle, more like a fortress, right? So I want it to obey the perspective that's in this piece. So that's another reason why it'll be good to have the larger sheet. That's the word I'm looking for. And does anyone out there have any work in some exhibitions that we should know about? I always like to know about and amplify your successes as well. So do let us know in the comments if you've got any work in any jury shows or on display anywhere. Just trim off the white areas, just because it's actually, who knows whether it's actually even needed, but it's one of those things I do as part of my warming to the task, right? So then I have to pick which cubicle I want to turn into the fortress. If it's too close to the front, it will obscure everything. If it's too far back, it'll be too small. So probably something about either in this row or this row. And there's some pretty dramatic perspective in this piece because the camera took the view from almost ceiling height, looking down. So there's this instead of things going up converging this way like they would if we were on near the ground, they're actually they're going down further down, so they're converging downwards. So the castle or my little fortress will sort of taper or expand upwards. So I think what I need is some tracing paper to just get a sense of what shapes I'm going to use. So and Kat, where's your tape? Well, funny you should ask. I don't know. There we go. I've got rolls of tape downstairs, out in the living room, dining room, out at Station Gallery. So I had one unopened one in my studio. So rather than gluing this down right away, I'm just going to tape it in position. And that's because I'm going to be cutting it and adding things, probably slipping things underneath. But the first thing I want to do is establish sort of the perspective for the castle I'm going to insert into it. So I'm just trying to get it reasonably square, because I imagine that this position will be the one that I keep it in, even though I'm going to remove it and put it back. So a very old school tape trick that's very useful. I mean, this is painter's tape, so it doesn't have it's not super high tack to begin with, but sometimes you end up with the tape getting too stuck to your work that you want to remove it cleanly. Now, fingers crossed this works, but what I'll often do, almost habitually actually, is I'll tear my little piece of tape off, and before I stick it down, I will dab it on my clothing so that it picks up just a little bit of lint, and then that interferes with its adhesion just a little bit, so it makes it just a little lower tack. It depends what fabric too, right? I have sweatpants on, so there will be lots of fibers pick up a bowl on that. So hopefully that will help when it comes time to peel it off the photo, that it won't damage it. And then I'm going to just throw a piece of tracing paper over top briefly, well, for the next stage. So not like just for a few seconds. For this stage, maybe not so much briefly, but for this stage, temporarily, that's what I meant. And what that's going to allow me to do is establish some perspective lines. So without actually drawing them on my artwork. And that will allow me to sort of draw the shapes of my Fortress edition, and get the shapes right. In years past, I have taught not for collage per se, but just in general, some basic perspective courses. And so one of the exercises I had my students do was take a photograph. I would give them a photograph. They didn't have to take the photograph themselves, but I would give them a photograph of either an interior or an exterior with buildings, and then I would have them draw perspective lines, extending, like you see how this line of the cubicles extends out that way, and then there are other ones. They're converging on a point over here somewhere, and then same thing with these lines are converging over to a point over here. So I would have people on a larger sheet than this so that they could actually draw the points, extend those lines to find the vanishing points that they could then use to draw anything additional, or just to help understand the way the perspectival lines converge and where they converge to. So what I'm doing, well, it's not an exercise in this case. It's just to help me figure it out. That's what I'm doing. And it looks like I've left a bunch of my pencils at Station Gallery too. Not all of them though. All right. All right, and I have to remind myself which cubicle it was going to be. I don't think I had actually decided yet. I better figure that out. And it's funny, you know, putting a piece of tracing paper over top, I can still see through it quite well, but not perfectly. So I just want to look at it without that over it until I've made my decision. I kind of think something that is a little off center might be nice. So I think it's going to be her cubicle. she's my chosen misanthrope. I hope she doesn't mind. And then which? All right, so I'm just trying to figure out something about the cubicles. All right, I guess that's all right. They're kind of interestingly modular. Some people, oh, that's interesting. Some people get more walls than others. I wonder if that's by choice or by design. Or sorry, by choice, or whether it's like you get by rank or by rank is the wrong word. You know what I mean? Seniority or position. All right, just going to see what people are saying here. Janice says she's in the Art Squared show. Congratulations, Janice. That's awesome. Is it a collage you got in there? And Anne, welcome aboard, Anne. You probably typed that in a few minutes ago, but I'm just checking comments now. Hello, Anne. How are you? Are you playing with the Misanthrope prompt as well, Anne? Let us know in the comments. No pressure if that's not your cup of tea, though. And so now I have to make the decision on how anal retentive I want to be, because the vanishing point is going to be off my page somewhere. So do I want to worry about that or just ballpark it? I will probably just ballpark it. But this will at least, I might or I might not. You know what? I'll see. The other vanishing point, well, in this case, there are going to be 3 primary ones. So I'll just sort of establish approximately where they are by these converging lines, and then I'll use them to create my my walled cubicle. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe there. Oh, it's because I got this little wrong too. Yeah, all right. I'm thinking 2 of these lines are looking wrong, or heading to. They're converging at the edge of the paper, but it's because I drew one of them wrong, or I traced it wrong, I guess is a better way of saying that. I put it in the wrong place, though. That is definitely the case. I'm going to put ticks here so that I can get it more accurate. There. And there's also a vanishing point way off the bottom of the page. So I'm going to use these sort of vertical columns because they're the tallest things to get their edges heading down to vanishing point way off the bottom. And maybe let's see, where's another strong edge over here? Maybe this window one? No, this cubicle is probably a clearer edge, so I'll go with that. So that's going to converge way down off the page, so. But it helps me understand. There's one vanishing point over here, there's another one over here, so, and then there's another one way down here somewhere, so. All right, it's going to be her cubicle. So I'll put a little X on it so I know. And then I'm just going to extend her walls way up. I'm just trying to find the edges of her cubicle properly. Reasonably properly. And then I'll extend them way up. I'm not sure we'll go quite that high, but we might. And don't really have much of an edge for the front, for this other corner of the front, so, but I can see a bit of it. It's at that angle, more or less. Also using this to sort of help me figure it out a little bit, get it more or less in the right place, right angle, correct angle. And then the bottom is cut off by view. So I'm basically just drawing this to get the shapes for my collaged in fort. And I'm going to also draw the edges of her cubicle where it does end, because that will be helpful for, because I'll probably put some kind of a fortress kind of door on her cubicle. This is so interesting. Like, it's hard to, I think sometimes with photographs, the lens also distorts. So I do have some difficulty finding the exact vanishing point, but it will be good enough. So we've got 2 visible walls. The other 2 will be behind, so we won't worry about them. And I've got a vanishing point way over here somewhere. So in fact, what I might do is just extend my rulers, use 2 rulers to follow a couple of edges. And what I'm going to do is just do a temporary little piece of tape over there for the vanishing point, which is like, okay, it's around here. Put that piece of tape there. So as long as I don't move my pad while I make this next line, it'll be fine. So let's get that lined up. There we go. And so it's basically at that corner of that piece. So I'll just use that. And now I have to decide how tall do I want my fortress. And also, do I want, am I going to want to put something above it? I don't know. Like a flag. A flag is almost, it's almost too celebratory. But maybe I could put like a sort of misanthropic flag. So I'm going to give myself that option. So I'm going to make the cubicle come about this high. So that's my edge there. And then the other side is going to be, I'll do the same thing over here for you know, you wouldn't think to make a collage that you would necessarily need to involve perspective, and do you absolutely need to? No, because one of the things that's great about collage is juxtaposing things that feel different. But I have this sort of love and interest for perspective. So that is part of who I am as an artist. So I feel, I feel like it's something that I want to include, but other artists would be like, oh no, I'm just going to eyeball it, or I'm just going to ignore it and make it more loosey-goosey and fun and fresh, and that's totally valid too. All right, I put the tape too far away. This vanishing point is very close to the edge. So, all right, try that again. And I see that there are a couple of comments, so I will be over to check those out in a minute. Right, so and I'm going to, because I think I'll probably put crenellations on. I'll put some other lines here just as guidelines. There, I think that's like suitably absurd. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's like the cubicle walls are now this high, like way beyond everyone else's. So that should be fun. And I'm just remembering that there are ways, but I don't remember them exactly, to make sure I'm spacing anything along there correctly. That's something that I will probably just wing. Um, I will do a very simple way of determining the center of the cubicle, and that's where which is just to make an X in the middle of that square, the square at the top of her cubicle, and then just run a line from that that is approximately correct to the vanishing point. So that's probably pretty good. And I'll just draw a line up, and that can be my flagpole line. So that's, hopefully, I'm not going to get too retentive with my perspective, famous last words. But really, I know that if I want to do more, I would have to I'd have to go do brush up on my textbooks and so on. So I'm not going to do that. So I am going to put a couple more ticks here just in case, that will help me draw or position my collage door for her cubicle, because I kind of think a misanthrope should have like a strong door. It shouldn't be open at all, right? It should be like she needs a way in and out, but beyond that, no, she wants to she wants to be good and safe in there. All right. And for better or for worse, I'm going to take those off and work with what I've got. Okay. And before I do that, I'll check in on your comments. All right. So Janice says she's got collage at the Art Squared show. That's awesome. I like people representing with collage. Way to go. And says that's a great way to learn perspective and to be able to convey it two-dimensionally. Absolutely. I think sometimes people get messed up. They think it's going to converge one way and it's actually converging another. So even if you don't want to get too heavily into perspective, just taking a picture of this is a great example, actually, an interior that's got a bunch of long straight lines, but it could be a living room, it could be anything, and then just extend them and see where the vanishing points go to. And the same thing with a building from outside, where do they go to, right? So it helps you understand how parallel lines work in out there in three-dimensional space, and we can represent them on a two-dimensional surface. So Janice says, and acrylic painted background, awesome, mixed media, right? Excuse me, Annie comments that it's funny that the misanthrope person has high cubicle walls. When I was working, it was the marketing people, always on the phone, who had the highest cubicle walls to muffle their voices. Double-edged. Yeah, totally, right? My poor wife, Kim, was given an office to be a graphic designer at Toronto Life. And it was I can't remember whether it was right beside the telemarketing people or the production people. But the production people were always on the phone to printers, advertisers. They were, their life was being on the phone doing coordination. And the telemarketers people, their life was on the phone all the time too, right? Trying to sell subscriptions. So, and they didn't get the tall wall. they didn't get a tall wall. Kim didn't get a tall wall, so she had to like try to think with all that cacophony going on. And that was long before noise canceling headphones and stuff like technology like that. So yeah, sometimes our so-called leaders don't really do us any good. All right, so let's. I'm just going to draw. I'm just going to wing a few crenellations here. You know, it's funny. I sort of know what it needs to do, but even then, it's hard to get it right. It's so interesting. Like, I know how perspective behaves, but when I, like this part, I'm winging, and I just keep thinking, no, that's not quite right. No, that's not quite right. So it should diminish a little bit as I move towards here. So I'm going to do 3. That would be equal. So it should be a little bit less than that. There and there. All right. And the gaps on this side, because this wall is a lot longer, will be a lot wider than the one on the foreshortened wall, which is going to be, the gaps will be skinnier. So all right, so I'm just going to lift my perspective, my drawing off to see if I've got basically the lines I need to have for my collage pieces. And yeah, I haven't done the door. I should do the door before I do anything more. So I think I'll just make the door the same height as the sort of well, I guess actually it should be the same height as the white part of the cubicle. So that would be, I'll have to wing it this time, around here somewhere. Right, so that's the height, and then I'll wing the, so I wonder how I could show the door being like really fortified. I guess if I make it out of like a wooden type pattern or color with, I mean, it's a tiny shape, so there's only so much detail I'm going to be able to put in there, but we'll see. So yeah, so this is going to be fun, I think. I'll just add some thickness to the flagpole and put a ball on the top, I think, and just put a flag on it. And if any of you guys have any ideas what the flag should be, skull and crossbones, or maybe a red circle with a slash through it with a person in it. Let me know what you think. That's something I can work out later, of course. But that'll be kind of a fun little treat to think about. And I always think about when I'm making artwork, I don't know why, but I always think about it in terms of what's going to be the fun part and what's going to be the challenging part. And I sometimes leave, if I can, I leave the fun part till the end, like dessert. So like, and actually the flag, whatever's on the flag is actually not that like there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to happen first, right? So I can think about the flag for a while, but that figuring that out and getting it just right and then doing it is going to be kind of fun, right? So, um, all right, so I kind of think that for this misanthrope, I should have like gray walls, right? Like stone or gray or something collage for the walls. And then this, whatever's up here, kind of like the sky should be like gloomy in some way. So I don't know what it's going to be exactly, but maybe I can find some gloomy sky in images. So not a sunny blue sky though. So yeah, Janice says road sign, do no entryway, do not enter. I love that. That's perfect. Yeah, that's great. That's because that's exactly what they want, right? So, and also that sort of red circle with the horizontal white bar through it, it's very simple. So it is a good thing for a flag, right? It's very clear and it's simple. So putting it on a flag is awesome. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go searching for. I know in my black and white drawer, my monochrome drawer, I have lots of grays that I can use for the walls. Um, I'm unsure though about sky and so on. So I'm going to see what I've got. Because I organize my drawers by color, um, I'm not sure how much sky I have, so that might be useful for the for her door. um, so I may just have to make the sky out of other things rather than photographic sky. Ooh. Yeah, some of that's nice, right? Like it's kind of grungy and bleak, so that might be good. This is like a sepia photograph, but what's around might be useful. I know it's sort of more brown than sky color, but we'll see. Ooh, that's got nice grunge to it too. That's a gel plate print. So I know I used to have a photograph of in one of my files of like a sort of tornado-y type sky, but I think I've cut it up and used it for other things, so I think it no longer exists. Now, some of you guys may say, well, you could just like go online and find these things, and that's absolutely true. I just like to try and make it work with whatever I've got, um, rather than constantly finding just the right thing. I just think there's something interesting about the improvisational aspect of that, especially for collage jam. Um, but yes, I might well do that kind of thing when I'm working on my own. So so if you're thinking like, oh well, Kat never does this or that, it's not that I never do it. I do it a lot. Like looking for perfect images for collages, but just due to the nature of Virtual Collage Jam, I want to work with whatever I can find in my stashes. So it doesn't really make for good viewing and talking about, like if I'm spending all my time online searching for things, right? So that's kind of a nice bilious color right there, isn't it? That sort of yellow and black mixed together. All right, and now I've got a bunch of sort of light browns, light yellows, stuff like that that I think might be good. And I also have I have a bunch of painted grays that might come in handy. So some of you guys may remember this piece from something I was working on before, a technological thing. I was just wondering about putting that in one of the walls, but I think maybe not. I mean, there is a digital aspect to working at your cubicle, of course, but I think maybe that's a bit off topic. Not off topic, but sort of not where I want to go in this particular case. So now I'm looking for either found darks and grays. Like I think one side of the cubicle should be quite dark, so I might steal it from chunks of this photo that's quite dark. And then the other side should be a lighter gray. I mean, that's kind of a nice piece there, the painted gray. So many good options, I tell you. So this is an example of one that I grabbed, and then I thought, oh, you know what? I probably don't want to use that because there's something weird about having square lines that and then putting them into a perspective thing. It's going to look wonky, so I probably won't use that one. I do like finding my, I like finding grays rather than using painted ones. Painted ones are great too. But there's something fun about using a photograph. So we'll just see. That's a very even gray, maybe too even. Not interesting enough. You know what? I think I probably have enough, at least enough to get going. So okay, so two things I have to bear in mind. I mean, I have to bear in mind a lot of things, but first thing is I need pieces that will suit my two chunks of, my two principal chunks of the tower. A dark one for the, I think I'll make the skinny side of the tower the dark side. I think that makes sense. And then a lighter, a sort of mid-gray maybe for the face of it. So I'm not sure this one's going to be quite big enough. Might be though. Let's see. It's got some strong lines in it that might or might not be beneficial. That's the question. And then there's other stuff like the scarf. So maybe that's got too many divisions in it. So, and this is a nice kind of color, but I think a textile is not what I want for, although that is kind of like the, I was going to say textile, I want like something more like concrete, but then I had the thought that this is also like what cubicles are made of. So maybe like that might actually be fun, right? Like this super high, but like it's made out of, like it's actually made out of the kind of stuff cubicles are. The scale is wrong because the texture is much larger than it would be. I'm going to try it anyway, though. I think it's funny, so I think there's benefit to that. So one of the good things, as you guys know, with collage is you can try it and then decide whether or not you like it before you stick it down. So yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll pick something that is dark on the other side. And do I still like this? Now that I'm thinking this, I'm going to try to look for something slightly different. I wonder if this piece is big enough. This is, it's just a little, it's not that light. The camera's showing it as lighter, but it's just construction paper, so it's not like super black. And I kind of like that. And that looks like that'll, like I have enough to fit that, depending on where this cut is in it. Well, I think it still fits because it's skinny. All right, that's okay. So I'm going to cut those pieces out of that first, and then we'll see where we go. So because I may want to try something else in the same castle shape, a different paper, I'm going to just poke through like tick marks that I'll cut to, and that way I'll preserve my excuse me, Oh dear. So if I sort of poke tick marks, it's like through the tracing paper, I'll have marks that I can cut this paper with, and if I want to make another one, I can do the same thing on a different paper, so I'll be able to do more than one. And in this case, I'm going to make the entire sort of fortress out of this paper, and then I'll glue on top the black or the dark piece on top of it, so that they're not two pieces, it'll be one assembly. So, and if you're like, I'm not sure I get what you're saying, Kat, you just watch, you'll see. I'm just not doing a very good job of articulating it. What a big surprise, right? I feel like my articulation skills have taken a bit of a beating as I've been trying to juggle so many things. So bear with me. Now, I also want these crenellations, but I've erased them so they're too light. Let's beef them up so I can actually make marks, so I can actually see them. Perspective, it's all well and good until you start freehanding things. All right, let's try that. See if I can see those now. All right, so I want the ticks, those ticks. Those ticks. Just trying to figure things out as I go along, classic. All right. That. Bottoms. And the edges. Sorry when I'm talking to myself a little bit there. All right, hopefully I've got the things I need. And I'm going to flip it over onto the white side where I can actually see them, because I can't see the ticks on this side at all. They're lost in this pattern, but on the back, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see them a little better. So oh, good. The camera actually focused. That's always a bonus. All right, so now we'll don't tell me I didn't get the final corner. Oh my Lord. It's classic. I missed one, so now I have to like try. Oh, I'll never see that. All right. So it is how far additionally from the last tick. It's like 3 millimeters. Okay. It's all well and good to have a system, but you have to actually use the system you're trying to use. occurs me. And it occurs to me I haven't checked comments for a while, so I'll do that. And then I'll keep going with my fortress. Yep, no more comments. You guys are busy collaging. Let us know in the comments when you come up for air, of course, not before that. What your collage is looking like, what you're using as your subject, what your idea is. And meanwhile, I will try to make this fortress come alive. You know, there are times I wish that I really admire artists who have an ability to be loose and free. I think one thing that sort of my confidence in working that way is not the way I would like it to be. So I tend to fall back on more on things like perspective and precision, as opposed to, like, I love when an artist will make a street scene or a city scene, and the perspective is it's not perfect, it's not right, but it looks fun and animated, as opposed to being looking wrong. And that's such a great skill. And that applies to a lot of things. I really admire artists who can do things like that. I've never been one of those. I'm sort of too worried about screwing up. So so we do what we do, right? But that would probably be a good area for me to practice in, right? To become more comfortable with that. Because it's only by doing things that we feel uncomfortable doing that we get better at, that we get stronger, right? So that's a little self-assignment for me to try to work. At least try that sometimes, right? All right, so I've got my one fortress piece, which is sort of like the whole thing. And now I'm going to do the dark side. The dark side of the fortress, the shadow side. And I'm going to put another sheet of white paper underneath so I can actually see the edges, because I'm going to use one of these edges, might as well, right? Which means I won't have to cut as many pieces. So I'll line it up on that side, and down there. And now I'll just put I'll try to put all the right ticks in this time. So I don't have to go finding them. All right, so it goes all the way down here to that cubicle, foreground cubicle edge. Okay, so that's ticks for the entire perimeter. And I also want ticks for the crenellation. Crenellations. And actually, yeah, hopefully I've got them all in here now. I'm doing some of them over again just to be sure. Right. These ticks are harder to see on black, but I can still just about see them. All right, forgive me if this blasts the view out for a minute, but I just need extra light to see my ticks on this on this black paper. That's the edge there. Right, it is pretty skinny. That side. Make sure that's the right tick down there. Must be the other tick there. Yeah, it's it's a very good thing that I put the light on. And I'm going to cut out the crenellations because I'll let the gray show through these gaps, I think. The paper moved while I was cutting it because it's so small. I'll try again. Maybe if I do it this way. I'm trying to pin it down enough that it doesn't squirm while I'm cutting it. That's better. Wow. Time, as usual, is flying on cat. But that is just the way it is. Okay, so where's my building? There it is. And so I must have got something wrong there. Okay. Oh, I see. I couldn't find a notch that I thought I had, so I must have cut to the wrong one. It's there. Okay, that makes sense. Take that down to this point instead. So I know I've mentioned this a few times for some of you guys, but basically what I'm doing now is I'm making what I call, it's not like collage terminology, it's just what I call them. I'm making a subassembly that I will then put into my collage. So I'm working on just the details of the castle, or the walled structure. So just trying to get a sense of, yeah, I didn't quite get this the way I wanted it. Oh, I see. Okay. Just try to tweak it a little bit there. Just have a little sliver more space. All right, so you can see it in isolation, what I've got so far, which is not very far yet, is that side. So, and then that'll come up from her cubicle. This edge is this angle because there's a cubicle wall in front of it. So next thing I'm going to do is cut out the crenellations on this side and put a piece of black paper behind it. In fact, I think I'll glue it on now. And then cut through both. And does that make sense? No. What makes sense is to cut first and then put the black paper on. Eventually, I figure it out. You know, when I do a perspective drawing, I haven't done one of those in a while, but when I do, oh, come on. Are you really going to be that bad? There we go. When I do a perspective drawing, I often revel in adding more and more detail using the perspective system. Kind of the opposite with this, even though and you can see it's taken me quite a while just to do the simple part, right? But I think one of collage's strengths is it makes you simplify. So I really am trying to keep this simpler, because, when you have to cut everything out, it means suddenly, oh, okay, if I have to cut it all out, I'm not going to be that ambitious, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. And you can be forgiven for thinking that I'm still taking forever. So I just need a little piece here on this to go on the back. So I am going to run just a few minutes overtime. If you have to get on with something else, I completely understand. Please feel free to post. Well, feel free. I would encourage you to post your results or whatever you work on. I want to get away from the word result to post what you have done, whether it's work in progress or work, because I think result is kind of like the wrong word for creativity. Post your work on our Virtual Collage Jam page on Facebook. And I am just going to work for another couple minutes because I just want to see some progress. And so I'm just going to finish this one sub-assembly. So those crenellations are almost ready. There's just a couple of details I need to add, but I'm going to let them dry for a minute while I paste this one on and try to remember which side to put the glue on. It pays to be mindful. So So there we go. I think I've actually got so many times I plan something out and then I flip it over and then I think, oh no, that's the wrong side. And I put the glue on the wrong side, flip it over again and put the glue on the wrong side. And then I've either I've ruined it or I have to wait until it dries and I've got glue on the side I didn't want to have glue on, right? So, so if you were thinking that you're the only one that happens to, no. So I'm just doing a little bit of fine trimming here to tidy up edges. And that glue won't be dry yet, but it's going to be dry enough to do the couple of little cuts that I want to make. And these will be perspective lines like that, more or less. Yeah. All right, so I haven't got to the door, I haven't got to the flag, but I have two walls that kind of feel like they've got a lit side and a shadow side. And so let's just, I mean, I know there's a long way to go in this collage, right, still, but let's just put it in place because I think that should be kind of fun, just to sort of see the idea. And so that's, you know, it's, I think more or less perspectively correct, but it looks absurd, and that's kind of fun, right? Because this has that really strong perspective down. So, yeah, I think this should be fun. Sorry, I haven't, it's off camera, some of it. There you go. So, and maybe I'll put some kind of like coat of arms, like with, I don't know, like on it. I don't know. I have to figure out some more details to make it more, make it a little more fun, but I think it's a good start. So that said, I guess I will chalk yet another collage jam up to not getting nearly close to being finished. And I will move, I'll come over and sign off and read your final comments. And there we go. All right, so switch from the close-up glasses to the computer glasses. There we go. All right, so Susie, hey Susie, how are you? Nice to have you here. Susie said had something and couldn't join from the beginning, but glad I had a chance to say hi and wish you a wonderful week. Likewise, Susie, I know you're a busy girl, so thank you for coming by for even a little while. That's awesome. Janice says, love it. Thank you. That's very kind. And Lisa says, hilarious. So that's good, right? I mean, I wanted it to be funny, right? Have like a, because of course Misanthrope could be like a really totally negative downer. So having a little bit of humor, it makes, I prefer it. So Lisa says she couldn't see it while I was doing it. Yeah, because probably I had, my big head was in the way, right? And it's pretty hard to see details. So yeah, I know, and the camera doesn't capture everything. So sorry about that. And Annie says, looks promising. Thanks for the jam. You're very welcome. And Rebecca, you're also very welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And so we have we have one more regular collage jam before the summer break, and that is in 2 weeks' time on the 23rd. And the words, I'm struggling with them today. The theme for that, the optional prompt is resistance and resilience. And so I was thinking about both pride, and I was also thinking about Canada versus the US. So, and so if that doesn't rock your boat, something else would be totally cool. But that's in 2 weeks' time. And then on the 5th of July, on the 5th of July, we have our live collage jam at Station Gallery. And I will be firming up the final details and getting promotion about that out soon. But if that sounds like something you want to join me for, mark your calendar, 12:30 to 4, and you can drop in later than that, or for an hour or two, or stay for the whole thing, whatever you like. Yeah, but that'll be out in social media relatively soon, within the next week. So, and also I'll email the Collage Jam group as well. So I will see you in 2 weeks' time. And meanwhile, keep collaging and post to Facebook. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Oh, and Kim says hi from to everyone. So, all right. See ya.